Hello, everyone. My name is Kindi. I am a postdoc at MIT CCL. Today, I will be presenting DICE, a data discovery by example system. This is a joint work with our collaborators at MIT Hamirpur, University of Massachusetts Amherst, the MIT Lincoln Lab, and the US Air Force. So let's talk about data discovery in the context of data science. So usually data scientists have to perform data discovery as the first step in order to build their data science pipelines. And this step requires them to find data of interest that they could use in later stages of the pipeline. And data discovery is part of data preparation, which takes the bulk of data scientists' time. So let's talk about data lakes and why it's challenging to perform data discovery on them. So in data lakes, we have a collection of raw tables, such as dumps of databases or CSV files. And those typically come from multiple sources, and there's very few metadata that we can rely on, such as schema information or constraints, and so on. So if we're trying to do data discovery from data lakes, we're not just trying to find a needle in a haystack, we're trying to find multiple needles in multiple haystacks. So if I need data for my analytical task, where do I begin? And how do I try to join those tables in the data lake? So there are multiple approaches to data discovery. So Sam here is looking for data on artists, their song titles, and the release country. And one solution that Sam could use is just a manual solution where you will have to sift through the tables and try to figure out which ones contain data of interest and try to join those tables and see if they will provide the desired results. Another solution is to use a data discovery system. However, by using those systems, the user is expected to formulate their own queries, and this usually requires some knowledge of not just the query syntax, but also how the data lake is structured. So in DICE, we do data discovery by example. This means that if the user knows what their data should look like, they could just provide a few exemplar records. And then DICE will join those tables that match the user's desired data automatically and return to the user an output that the user could validate later on. So the first step is to provide the example records, and then DICE will discover join paths to join those tables, and DICE will present the produced tables to Sam for validation, and Sam could say that this record is right, this record is not right, and if Sam is happy, then he will accept the result. If he is not, then the DICE will go through another iteration. So this is an iterative process, and Sam is involved in refining the results step by step. So let's see a demo of the system right now. So the user first enters a few example records. And here we're naming the columns just for our own sanity. DICE does not use this information. So now I'm going to provide a few example values, and those will contain songs by Pink Floyd that were released in the United Kingdom. And we can see suggestions of values that are given by DICE to help the user enter the examples. So after the user provides the examples, they will submit those examples, and DICE will produce a few join paths. So here we're joining 3 tables, but they produce data that is not what the user is looking for. Now there is another join path here that joins those 4 tables that provides a result that contains a few records of interest to the user. So those are the Pink Floyd records, and the user will accept those records. The system will then produce a new join path with only records from Pink Floyd, which is what the user is looking for. Now the user wants to revise the examples to include a new column, which contains the lyrics information. So the user will enter a few keywords of the lyrics of 2 songs. And now the system will provide a new join path that also includes the lyrics information of those Pink Floyd songs. After the user is happy with this result, he will accept the results. And then the system generates a SQL query that the user could run directly on their data lake. So to conclude, DICE is an example-driven approach to data discovery, and it requires no time investment from the user to learn the tool. And it relies on an iterative workflow where the user is involved in the loop to refine the results. Thank you.